Any questions that you have for my awesome guest Svetlana or myself, ask in below, and I'll check it at the end. Going to also go live here on Instagram. Awesome. And then Instagram always makes me type out they have to give me a copy and paste option on. I keep checking every time. They don't let me copy and paste, so I have to type out live with Svetlana. What's your Instagram handle, Svetlana? I'm gonna.
The Light Freedom.
Okay. The Light Freedom.
Correct.
Got it. Hello, hello. Getting ready to go do a live recording, Enlightened Conversation. If you want to see us both, I'm gonna put how to find me on YouTube and Facebook. Hello, hello, Brandy. Ask questions, and if you want to see us both, join on Facebook or YouTube. Search Noel Strain. Awesome. All right, let's do it. Pin this comment. All right, right there. Hello, hello, out in Philadelphia. Okay. My guest is in Las Vegas. I'll introduce you guys to her now. If you want to see us both, YouTube and Facebook is the spot. All right, awesome. Cool. All right, let's do it.
On.
We're ready.
You take care of all of the electronics.
Everything is good. Yep. So do you want me to what's your last name? Do you want me to say your last name as well? Because I'm gonna introduce you as spiritual teacher, energy healer. Do you want me to say your last name? I don't know it if you do.
Just Svetlana.
Perfect. All right, let's do it. What is that? 1 second. Oh my gosh, it never makes me do this. 1 second. It's making me claim to be the host, which obviously I always am. Host key is 6 to 10 digit number. 1 sec. 818. Oh my gosh. 1 sec. Okay, now we're good. So funny. All right. Technology is so fun.
Okay. Yes.
I've mastered all the technology. Any challenges it throws at me, I can deal with it.
That's awesome.
All right, let's do it. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and to introduce you guys to today's guest. We have Svetlana, who is out in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Svetlana is a spiritual teacher, an energy healer, and just all-around awesome human. I discovered her Instagram page not too long ago and immediately saw the love and light that she was sharing with her audience and reached out to her and knew we would have an awesome conversation. And she was gracious to share her time and energy with us today. So without further ado from me, I want to introduce you guys to Svetlana. And you can share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all that good stuff.
Blessings. So good to be here with all of you. My name is Svetlana. Yes, I'm an energy healer, a spiritual teacher. Been doing it for over 8 years now. And I'm in Las Vegas. This is my home base. The journey started for me since I was little. I was quite plugged in, and I was this weird child who was running around and always looking for God, always looking for light, always looking to be in churches and in places like that. And being raised in the Soviet Union, it wasn't something that was practiced very, very big or very openly. And my mother, would find ways to plug me in. And then I went on with my life. I moved to America. I went through my teens and then young adults here in Las Vegas. Had my little crazy life, and deeply fall in love with an incredible man. Created a beautiful family. And I have a beautiful son. And it seemed like everything that I wanted and everything I ever dreamed of came true. It was a beautiful, beautiful life that I created for myself. And as everyone else, we had a lot of plans, had a lot of visions, had a lot of travels planned. And my husband suddenly passed away. And it was in that moment and in that darkness that I started really looking and searching. I really wanted to know what happens. I really wanted to know what happens after death. I really wanted to know where he is and where did he go. And that time was so uncertain. I remember I was just sleeping day and night and was just hoping that when I wake up, it would be just all a bad dream and then life would be as it always was. And as the time was passing, I was finding myself more and more in a Buddhist temple meditating with monks. I would be finding myself learning meditation, asking myself a question: how can I fall in love with life again? How can I actually rebuild myself so I can be there for my son? Because it would be so unfair for him to lose mom and dad at the same time. So I was looking to regain that strength, and also find the answers for a lot of phenomena that was going on in my house, for a lot of phenomena that was going on in my life that just made no sense to religion. Perhaps didn't make much sense to what I knew at that time. And I spoke to, I started learning religions. I got into the Judaism and I learned a lot about Kabbalah and many different things. Found myself in church quite a little bit. And then one day I had a conversation with a medium. And it was something that I wasn't really going to see the person. The person just showed up in my life. And the messages, the conversation that I was able to have with him was so healing and soothing for my soul. That ability to say the very last, I love you. That ability to say the very last, I'm sorry. At that moment, I recognized that I could have spent 10 years in a therapy and an agreement group, have one conversation with him, and have that depth of the healing. And that's how journey really started unfolding more and more. I decided, wow, like what a gift in it. What if I can help people to really heal their souls, to heal their life, to come back home into the light, to come home into the goodness and find the purpose again and find the light and find the love that is within them and discover it. And, whenever the soul is ready, the soul opens up, the teacher comes in, and new opportunities comes in. And for quite a few years, I've been in metaphysical school. I'm getting my master's in metaphysics, and I've been healing and teaching and living my purpose and walking my light and really being in this beautiful, beautiful space to help people to go through whether it is grief or depression, sadness, any kind of physical disease, and be able to hold their hand and show them the way to plug back into the source, into the universe, into the God love, and to be able to restore themselves.
Beautiful, beautiful. The way that you just illustrated that, I really appreciate. And what I love about these conversations, Svetlana, is I don't know any of this stuff. For the audience, you guys know this. I don't do too much digging or try to figure out, what the person's backstory is before we talk. And the fact that that's your story and that you just brought that up is so synchronistic. And I didn't know if the conversation would go here today. I'm happy that it has, though. And thank you for sharing your story. And first, just illustrating how for all of us, some of the biggest challenges that we have in our life, when what could be more challenging than losing, a spouse or a loved one, some of the biggest challenges can, in the moment they're going to be rough, and just for all of us, we're human, and that's going to be a part of the human experience for sure. And then you're illustrating what that can lead to as far as your own, soul's, readiness to go on this spiritual journey. And now what you're doing as far as continuing to evolve, it's an ongoing journey for all of us forever. And how you're able to be a benefit to others now, as a result of what was really one of your most, if not your most challenging days since you've been here on Earth. And I'm so happy that you brought up death and dying, and being able to connect with those that are no longer here. As globally, we had a really rough go yesterday, and it was a really emotional day for me and a lot of other people, as we lost an American hero, and also a global hero who inspired so many of us, Kobe Bryant. And I knew that when I heard the news. I was at the gym. Immediately I was like, I'm going to record a video today for sure. One, just to share the appreciation that I know the energy that is Kobe Bryant, and what you discovered and now know and help people realize also, Svetlana, is that the energy part of us that is, a part of us while we're here in this physical body, once this physical body ceases to exist, that energy part still exists, and we can still connect with that energy part of us. And the peace that gave me when I became aware of this, and knew that whenever I left this physical shell, for one, because that's probably most people's greatest fear. They say public speaking sometimes, but I think that death is probably a larger one for most. And so knowing that when I leave this physical shell, I'm going to still exist. My energy is still going to be, regardless of what that energy decides to go and experience from that point on. And just having also the peace, knowing that we can connect with people that have meant something to us after they go, is awesome. And to do that, and I shared this in the video yesterday, I would love to know your thoughts on this as far as what you become aware of, Svetlana. Is what I wanted to share with people in the video yesterday is, even though right now, like for people that loved and appreciated Kobe Bryant, or anyone that we've lost, even though in the moments of grieving, it's going to be very tough to feel where they are, because they're not in grief, they're not in depressed, they're not in powerless, where a lot of times, or sadness, where that's kind of how we feel, because we want them still here with us in the physical. Where their energy now is, when we leave this physical body, their energy is back with all that is God, the universe, love, source, spirit, the force, whatever anyone wants to call it. And that is a frequency that is nowhere close to grief. So we can go through our process, and we're ready to reconnect with them if we choose to. All we have to do is connect with the frequency where they now are, and we can feel them as if they're still here. Obviously, we'd like to be able to physically, touch their physical bodies again, but that just gives us a lot of peace to be able to do that. And I'm sure that was like a life changer for you. And I'm sure since then you've been able to, anytime you've wanted to, and it's probably quite a bit, you're able to feel the presence of your late husband, and be able to know that he's still very aware of you, and you're still very aware of him. And I'm sure he's shown himself to you in various ways. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yesterday was very, very, very emotional for me, because he was my husband's favorite player. The whole home is a Lakers home, and my son has his jersey, and he passed at the same age as him. And yesterday I just was really, really tapped into it, and it was very emotional, and that pain and tears started rolling down my eyes, and just thinking of the pain that his wife is going through, that his family is going through, that all the people that love him so very much and so deeply are going through. And it is very, very devastating. It is so hard to, yes, we want that physical presence, we want that physical touch. Like, that's what we miss so much. And the truth is, when we're in the depths of grief, and when we're in the depths of sorrow, it is very, very difficult for the spirit to communicate to us, because our energy field around us is kind of sticky, right? And even though they wanted to to make us feel right and show, maybe to show up in a certain ways for us. And for me it was like light bulbs will be going through the roof all like every day. I would go upstairs, the light bulb will go off, and things would be moving around the house. So that energetic presence was strong, but also while I was grieving, I wasn't really able to experience that, or hear or understand what was going on, or having that conversation. I was more spooked out by the phenomena that was going on, and just not really able to recognize, right? Because it's such a big topic, and while we are living just a normal life and we are going through day to day, and we maybe we know how to manifest, and we experience some way of awakening, when someone who you love goes, it's a whole different level of comprehension and wonder of what is and how it is and why it is so. And yes, you're absolutely right. Like the physical body goes, but the soul, the higher self, the our emotional body and our mental body, like those things transition into its own space. And so really the physical body has no life. It's nothing. It's bones and blood and everything else, right? But what life is that soul, is that etheric body that we have. And that's when we die, that what starts leaving us, that what goes away. And it takes a little time for the etheric body to leave. It takes a little time for emotional and mental body to leave. And it's a good practice not to bury a person right away, have a funeral right away, and allow the energy completely exit, to completely go into the eternity, into the ether. um, and it usually takes around 3 days for the etheric body completely. Also, with the communication, with the conversation, yes, being able to tap into the conversation with a beloved, and the person who passed away. um, I find it is a lot easier when you've been in a grief for quite a little bit, and it's not as big. It's not that same moment. It's not that same week or even that same month, right? Then at that point, you're already more within yourself. You're a little bit more calm, right? You're grieving a little bit calmer, and it's not that just emotional roller coaster when you just find out that someone who you love died, right? That's a lot of pain and tears that just overflow you right there. And at that point, maybe 2, 3, 4 months in, maybe a year in, it becomes a little bit easier to have a conversation with your loved one, and you're a little bit more ready as well, and have a little more clarity about a lot of different things. Um, yes, and also, in my personal experience, and it might be different for people, well, like around the first 7 years, it's been almost 9 years now. The first 7 years, his presence was very strong, and he was, like I actually did go into mediumship and learning all of it because I wanted to learn how to communicate with him. And that was, after that, I went into the healing space, but my desire was just to really, really connect with him. And it was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful way to be able to communicate with him, to be able to get some input about our son and what he's doing and how he's growing. It was like we were raising our child on different dimensions, right? He will give me the information while Gabriel is in school, and I knew everything was going on at home. So we had eyes everywhere. But at one day, he just came into meditation. And he said, "I have to go." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, go where? What is that? How it is? Like, how does this? Why?" And he said that I have a big task. Like I have to be doing the work now. I'm transitioning. The God gave me a work to transition the souls of the uh, dead soldiers, of the soldiers that passed away, and take them into the light. And it's not that I will not be ever there for you, but I cannot be as much as I used to, and I have to go. And it was that very interesting moment for me. It was another, like, I got comfortable in that way of communicating with him. And he was like, I helped you, I set you up, you're fine, you're well. So is my son. This is my time to completely, do the God's work where he's at. And after that, I so rarely, maybe 2 3 times a year, that I will have that energy or that presence and be able to tap into anything. It's almost not there, and there are so many different levels, so many different ways, and I recognize that the more I know, the more I don't know. The more I want to know, the more I have no idea. The more I learn, the more I embark into. Uh, and I spoke once with my teacher who is in her 80s, and she said, "Well, maybe she's done it since she was 18." She's like, "Maybe I tapped in at 5%." Maybe of that knowledge. It's so big, it's so vast. We're trying to make sense with our human minds, and it's beyond it. It's so beyond it. And I think the best thing is for us to truly experience it, to know it in our core, to know the God, the source, that energy in our core, to be good, to do good, and to really have that light, the source, the universe that shines through us, and be more plugged into the world and do good in the world, rather than just try to constantly find the answers and travel, and because it's so big and it's so vast, and it will take a lifetime.
Absolutely. I love that you just shared that. And that's so valuable for all of us. And Svetlana, the reason that I do what I do is because I love to help in any way I can to have the light bulb turn on. Because it happened for me at one point where now I had an awareness that I hadn't had before that. And I was open to receiving new awareness of who and what I truly am, and all what's at play here, in this world while we're here in these physical bodies. But then also knowing what you just shared, as far as one could seek out answers to all of life's questions from this moment to for the next 100 years, and still only know a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what there is to be aware of. And what gives me peace in that is knowing that anytime I have a specific question that is important for me to become aware of, so that I can continue my life journey, I can ask that question to God, to the universe, to all that is, and not need to know the answer right here and now, because a lot of times when we're asking questions, it's from a space of, almost all the time when we're asking questions, it's from a space of, I really would like to have this answer because right now I'm lacking it, like I'm lacking the answer. So that energy of lacking the answer is not the same frequency as where we'll receive the answer from. Similar to what we were just talking about, is if we want to connect with those that are no longer here. So all that I have to do to receive any answers to life questions that I have, how can I, how can I attract the relationship that I want? How can I have improved health? How can I have, financially aware, any life questions that are important to us. When we're ready to receive the answer, when we're a frequency match of the answer, which a lot of times will come when we're doing something completely different. We could be meditating, we could be out just enjoying life with our family or friends or loved ones, could be out exercising, could be taking a shower. It could happen in so many different ways. But once I really became aware that any of these questions that we have for life will find us when we're ready to receive them, I don't need to go out seeking and trying to figure it out and do all these things, because a lot of times when we try to find answers in life before we're ready to receive them, when we're not in that frequency match to receive it, just causes us to be anxious right here in the moment, which feels even worse. So now, not only do we still not have the answer, but we feel even worse for not having the answer, because the longer we try to figure it out right now, the worse that we feel, and it can throw off a lot of things. So I love that you said that, because we really don't need to know it all. We had all of life's answers. What would we do with it? Like we wouldn't be in position to do anything. It would be like overload, and we'd be So I love that you said that.
And we came here to experience it, right? We came to experience life and all of it. And it's not necessarily just like know of all that's what's going to happen. Like the magic of it is an experiencing of it, and walking in the face and trust and becoming more, and being given this next step to take, or you know, next video to record, whatever that is, right? For us, that next step, and just really tap in into us. Okay, this is it. And maybe I don't know how it's all going to unfold all the way. And truly, when we're walking our life purpose, we usually see only two steps in front of us. Like we see the vision, and it's usually not even the magnitude of what it would be anyway. And then we see the two steps in front of us, or even one. And everything else is faith, is trust, is for us to grow, for us to unfold, to become more, to really, really expand. And then the next step opens up. And so, really, I feel like we go through different stages of spiritual awakening. And then we get, first, we don't know anything, and it happens to us. And then we become this like, oh my God, I'm awakened, and I'm in this blissful state, and everything is amazing and wonderful, right? I'm all this awakened. And we become pretty good manifestors in that state because we catch up to a higher frequencies, right? But it is still us using our mind, us trying to do it, us trying to manifest, right? And then when we progress a little bit, then we become channelers. Like, okay, Source, what do you want me to do? Okay, channel through me, love through me, show up through me, right? It becomes this war completely. We are together. We are not, there is no separation. And in that space, like there is so little that we need to know, right? It's like, no, like I am so well. I am living my purpose. I so know it's going to be what it needs to be and so much more, right? I am living beyond my wildest dreams, and I can't even imagine the magnitude of everything when it unfolds. And I'm just going to walk that path in a connection with the divine, divine in me, divine that is in everything. And then we go into the oneness, complete oneness. And then there is absolutely nothing to know, right? Because we are God, God is us. You know, one of my favorite saying quotes is by Yogi Bhajan. He said, if you don't see God in all, you don't see God at all. Like, and so how do we really open up so we see God in all and in everything?
I love it. That was very beautifully said. Well, you guys can't rewind, but when this comes out, the actual episode, rewind and listen to what Svetlana just said again, because it's very beautiful. And you inspired me to share two things. And first, the best teacher for any of us is life experience anyway. And so I just am pro life experience. Like if you want to know, what your purpose is, why you're here, or as far as what do you feel inspired to do, really our purpose is to live in joy, and we're going to create as a result while we're here. But there's going to be some things that your life experience is going to draw you to more than any of the rest of the 7.7 billion humans, because we've had all unique life experience. And the way to really, fine tune what that is and to be clear about what that is, to have the clarity, is to have additional life experience, which is awesome. I'm always encouraging everyone to go have inspired life experience. Not trying to make it happen so that I could have a result. That's nothing wrong with that, but that's just, it's a different, more of a motivated, like I have a motive, versus inspired, like, ooh, this feels like something I really want to explore. Might not be like the end all be all, like I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my days, but anytime I have any type of inspired, inspired action that I want to take, I take it because I know there's some clarity there, some new life experience, which will give me things I like, things I don't like, and it's really great for the next step of the journey. And then what you just described is anytime we start talking about channeling or anything of that nature, what I love to know, and it gives me so much excitement just to know that only thing I really need to control, and it goes with what you were saying, the only answer that I really need to have the answer to is, Noel, what's your frequency, what's your mood, what's your vibe right here and now? Like, where are you being? What's your state of being in the moment? What frequency you're on? And just like a radio frequency, if I want to listen to to country music or rock or R&B or whatever it is, all I have to do is tune the radio frequency to that channel, and then that's what's going to flow through. So if I want to be connected with the divine, all I have to do is tune my radio frequency, tune the frequency of Noel in this moment. Doesn't matter what I was yesterday, doesn't matter what I might be tomorrow, but what am I tuning to right now? And if I know that I'm feeling good, I'm at peace, I'm content, I'm happy, I'm feeling love, and it can climb from there as momentum carries us up. I know that I'm tuned in, so I know I can trust all the frequency, all the things that I'm channeling from that energy is going to be able to come into my brain as thoughts, is going to come out of my mouth as words, it's going to come into my actions. I'm not going to be judging or condemning. I'm not going to be critical of myself or others, because that's the radio frequency. That's the frequency that I'm tuned into with the divine. So I love that you share that. And I love helping people become aware of that, because that makes life so simple. Like I don't have to second guess what I'm saying right now, because I know I'm in an energy of love, of happy, of wanting to empower the audience. and it doesn't really matter to me what comes out from there because it's going to be from that connected place. So that's awesome.
People sometimes they're so afraid of like dropping the frequency, or what if I'm in a frequency, and being really like obsessing about the law of attraction, and condemning themselves and judging themselves. And it is a like we're all human beings, and we experience emotions. And when I just want to share that, because like I work with clients quite a little bit, and they would go through the blissful state and manifesting state into like, okay, I'm going through the dark night of the ego, pretty much like my ego is dying right now. And I am, it's not like my soul is dying, my ego, and I will be something different. But what I am right now, I don't really know. And this is so painful, and I'm cheating, right? But usually after that blissfulness, we go through it because now we are ready to heal. Now we are ready to look into all of these dark shadows and dark corners within ourselves and release, and to go through that really, really deep healing. And for some reason, people like, oh my God, but if I do that, then I'll attract more of that. And it becomes all of that stuff, right? It's like there's so many different universal laws, so many of them. And the highest of them is the law of love. Like really tap in with the love, get into humbleness. If you get and you're feeling psychotic and neurotic or crazy, right? Like in yoga and Kundalini yoga, we learned that the healthy person has 16 personalities, right? And healthy person, who knows? Like, and our job is like we're going from this dark light, and then into one, and then in another year, and then into one, right? And hopefully, by the end of the life, or by the end of a year or 2 or 5, we can be this one complete wholeness, one complete core. And that's what we want to truly be. But while we're building for that, right? If you are on your knees crying because you are having a hard time of thinking positively, just ask Holy Spirit to come in and show you a different way. Because a lot of times we cannot figure out with our thinking, with our experience, how to get out of our own stuff, right? It's like, okay, I'm going through breakup. I've done this thing 5 times, and this thing 5 times, and this thing 5 times. It's like, I don't want to do any of it, but I have no idea how to do it differently. Right? So just allow Holy Spirit to come into you, get humble, release yourself fully, release that ego fully. Show me a different way. And it will open up for you. And it wouldn't be anything that you ever knew of or could have even thought of. But it will show up for you so differently. And you will be able to really come through that healing and become a different person because of that. We spend too much time trying to figure out. Too much time like, well, I've done all this self-help stuff. Like, I should know better. Like, I should be better by now. Like, I said, who? Like, be kind to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. Allow the journey of healing to unfold, right? Well, I've been grieving for 9 years. So, like, everyone has their own agendas on how things should be. Like, your life is your life. And we don't have the manual on how to go through sorrow, grief, or loss, or heartbreak, like all of it, really, the loss of anything. It is like having a funeral for your dreams. Like, that's what it is. And it's hard. And it takes time. And you just having a funeral to one dream after another until you come completely home to the core of who you are. And then just stay in that core. Like, just stay with the truth. I find so many people that have the spiritual awakening and they know the truth and they don't stay with the truth. They sell out. They go into the ego, right? Or maybe they were in the ego, like they had cars and houses and all the cool stuff, And again, nothing wrong with having all of it, But it's like if you're doing it just because of the ego, you're still out of balance. And then people go become a spiritual ego, right? Oh, look at me. I speak with 15 angels and I can channel this much. And like, the same, like, okay, we're changing one ego to another. Humble, get into the heart, serve. Show up with love and light, right? Be a good human being. It's not about how spiritual you are, how religious you are. Like, everyone and everything and every major tradition and religion speak about the same thing. Be good, be a good human being, and do good. And then we can just come into the core of that, and whatever journey we're going to go through, we will go through it. Yes, it is beautiful when we have our daily practice. We must have our daily devotional practice. We must plug in every single day into the source. Like we need to be doing it so we can become lighter, so we can become freer, so we can become really that core, that power, that magnitude, that divinity, all of it that can be within us all the time, every time. And so it's a journey. It is for all of us. And I don't want you guys who ever like I just find it like it's devastating always to my soul when people like, oh yeah, and I was thinking about those thoughts, bad thoughts, and this is why it happened. Right? I think it's devastating because I went through that, after he died, and I learned about the law of attraction. I was like, oh, did I kill him? Like that's a paranoia. That's so hard because then I was thinking that I might do that to my son. Like I got so dark and so deep and so fast. Like no, there is a law of love. There is a law of synchronicity. There's so many more other things in the universe, right? Start opening up. You don't know the way. Ask for a different way. Ask for the source to show you a different way, and just stay humble. That's my rant.
You just inspired me so much, Svetlana. And the first thing I want to say, I believe, and so for me, there's believing and there's a knowing, and I could almost say this as a knowing, but for now, I'll just leave it open to possibility and say it's a strong, strong belief. I believe that before we choose to incarnate in these physical bodies, that we have a pretty good idea of how long the physical journey is going to be in this body. So I don't think it's a surprise to us when we return to non-physical, like, oh, I wanted to stay like another 50 years. Like, I don't think that it goes down like that. So that's just a very strong belief, and almost a knowing for me is that we have an idea of what this human experience is going to be like, as far as some of the challenges and things that we go through. Like if we come down and we're handicapped or anything like that, I believe that that is something that we are aware of before we choose to incarnate, and we choose to go forward with it for the clarity and the creation and just the evolving of our soul that's going to take place as a result. So that's the first thing. Second, I love when you mentioned being able to, because the biggest part of my spiritual journey, because it wasn't just the mentor that introduced me to the law of attraction, or when I became aware of energy, or any of the thing, or being present in the moment, or any of that stuff. What really was the biggest part was becoming aware of some blind spots that I had that I didn't even know were affecting my moment to moment energy every single day. And the older that we get, like we form these habits of thought, and the way our state of being becomes very habitual. And by the time we turn 30, there's like 90% of our thoughts are habits. And so it becomes very predictable how our energy, our vibe is going to be as a result, how our words, our actions are going to be, and the results that we see in our life. And so the beautiful thing is we can rewire that. But when you mentioned being able to ask the Holy Spirit for the guidance and for the answers, I love that, because I did that in the form that I did that in, and during meditation. I went to a meditation retreat, and it really shifted a lot for me. But one of the most important things that came out of that was I started doing this guided meditation where literally I was asking God, asking the universe to show me my blind spots, the parts of me that I wasn't aware of that were affecting my energy day to day. And all of a sudden, like, it didn't take long at all. Like, we're talking about the first few meditations of asking this. All of a sudden, I started paying attention to what was triggering me, and what was causing my energy to start the momentum down to where it was feeling, heavier and more dense, where I started becoming, anxious, and then frustrated, and then worried, and then like, what was causing this? And then all of a sudden I noticed myself being critical of myself and of others, and it was a total blind spot. And it started from the time I was a child, and it's just how I got used to being, in competitive sports and talking trash to each other. And I just realized that carried on into my adult life. And so, long story short, by doing what you said, asking for, for clarity when it comes to blind spots that we all have, at some point in our life, and we can't do anything about them until we know that we have them. That's why it's a blind spot. So this is a very important part of all of our journeys. And once I uncovered those, then it was really, for me, I can be aware now of where my present moment energy is. And I'm real big on feeling momentum one way or the other. So if I see myself now having a critical thought of myself or others or anxious or worried thought, I have no problem saying, stop it, Noel. Because I know that one thought can turn to two, can turn to an hour of being critical or anxious. And then now I've had a terrible day and I feel miserable. Like it's just, I'm not making myself wrong for it, but I'm very aware. And I just know momentum will make us feel better and better and better, or worse and worse and worse. Like it's going to move one way or the other. And the last thing you inspired me to share, and this is really important because you mentioned being humble. This is so important because I have all the confidence in the world because of knowing that all of us can, when we choose, be connected with God, can be connected with the universe, source energy. And we have all the power of God and the universe flowing to and through us, and it's who we truly are. And then that's the same reason why I'm humble, because there's no special breed of human. Like if you see Svetlana doing something awesome and being able to communicate with those that she loves and she lost and be able to help people and anything else that, that I do or anybody that you see in the world doing, that's a reflection of you. Like the same energy that flows to and through them and is who they truly are is who you truly are out there in the audience. That's who all of us are. So there's no special breed of humans. So I'm not going to like separate myself and think I'm all this special human that I can do things that no one else can't. I'm just, for me, what's most important is what I can control is what's my vibe and frequency right now in the moment. And if I could share that and help others by my example, because that's the best way for any of us to impact anyone out there is to be the example of it, then maybe I can inspire someone watching, someone in the audience or anywhere that I'm living life to have the light bulb switch on to where now they know they can be, do, and have anything also, and that they're not, different, they're not any less than or greater than me. We're all, sharing this physical experience through these physical shells with the energy flowing to and through us. So you inspired all that, Svetlana. That was my rant to your rant.
My pleasure. It was so interesting when you started speaking about the your complete knowing about we have a certain amount of years, right? We have a certain amount of time here and make it count. Again, in a yogi tradition, we believe that when we are born, we have a certain amount of breath that we do take, and how fast we breathe or how slow we breathe really shows how long of our life is going to be. So we really focus on the breath and not wasting our breath, right? And it goes so hand in hand with the science, like all stress kills. Well, stress kills because we breathe so shallow, right? And so having that breath practice, and when we breathe really deeply, we're able to feel ourselves so much more. We're able to feel our hearts. We're able to feel the source that is within us and be able to receive and communicate with ourselves, with our hearts, and with the source as well, right? And again, it goes hand in hand with, yes, we do have quite an idea of how long we're going to stay here, and we all can choose to have a more fulfilling life, a longer life, more peaceful life, more serving life. And it is, we're not neither, you and I, not some special snowflakes, right? We all are some special snowflakes, and we can choose to show up in our calling and in whatever that in our hearts, and to be able to share it with the people and with the people we love and the people who come into our lives and help.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What an awesome conversation so far, Svetlana. I'm curious from you, like right now at the time of this recording, or right at the beginning of 2020, almost done with the first month. I'm still saying Happy New Year to everyone, and don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon.
Right?
There's nowhere where it's written that says you have to stop saying it on like the 4th or the 5th. So I just continue saying it. And maybe it might still say it in October. Who knows?
And you should, because again we have Chinese New Year and then Persian New Year, and then what I like, there are so many New Years. We can continue with that for a while.
For sure.
And it's never too late to restart, right? Like guys, if you like really doing good on some resolutions and some you're not doing so well, right? It's like, okay, Chinese New Year, I'm going to start now. Like it's never too late. There is always an opportunity to like, okay, today's the day, today is a new year, right? Today is a new me.
Absolutely.
I like it. I like that the energy changes so much that we can just jump on it anytime.
Absolutely. So such good advice. Like I actually love that part of life, being able to create momentum from wherever we are. And that's the only place that we can create momentum from is right here and now. And it starts with, this first, my present moment energy, being aware of it, and then having thoughts from there, and then words from there, and then actions from there. And then all of a sudden I'm continuing to flow attention wherever attention goes, energy flows, wherever energy flows, eventually we see things manifest. And so I love that we can I got really excited as the year was coming to a close last year because I had created momentum and different things that I was doing, and it was like October. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have October and November and December momentum, and then it'll be New Year, and then I already have 90 days of momentum going into these things. So you can start that now and have, if you're like, no, it has to be a New Year's resolution. Well, just have 11 months of momentum before your 2021
I'm
resolutions.
right there with you. I feel like I'm the most productive, and so many things happen like October, November, December. Like it just in a spiral because you just want to really get into the new year with so much energy. Yes, and December is usually just such an amazing month to like, woo, and then you just go into it and shine. Yes,
Absolutely.
better not to wait.
What are you most excited about this year in 2020 for you, Svetlana? What's going on in your world out there in Vegas, or what are you inspired to share with the audience about anything you have going on?
I am, it has been already a beautiful, beautiful year for me, and more opportunities are coming through and aligning. Again, I have my healing sanctuaries that I do every Sunday. It is my way to pour into the people, into community, and it is free. It's by donation. It's really my way to pour into people, to help them to stay on a path. I do believe we need to have some kind of practice, right? Because otherwise it becomes so difficult. And it's so easy for our ego, our ego will find a doorway here or there. Like, oh, not today, maybe next Sunday you go. Right? It's like, no, we need to learn. We need to be plugging in. We need to be plugging in every day. But if we don't plug in every day, at least once a week, right? So we like really realign for the next day. Yes, I'm working on my book. I have a few courses that I teach. And I think this year for me, it is more getting getting on the internet a little bit more, right? Being able to share the message with the people all over the world. Again, I'm very blessed. I have a beautiful community here in Las Vegas. I have a beautiful sisters and brothers that we do beautiful work with. We have our complete woman event where we have over 100 women that come in, and we're able to pour into them and inspire into them, and such a beautiful way for women to connect and network. And so there are a lot of different projects, but I think this year for me it is more of you know just going next step in it. Last year I did a lot of work one on one, and I love it very much. And but I find myself being so passionate when I'm able to work with a lot of people, with the groups of people, and being able to teach and speak on a bigger stages. So it's been beautiful.
I love
It's
it.
already started very beautifully.
I love it. I love it. One thing I know about you, Svetlana, and now that we've connected and I've felt your energy, I knew we were gonna have an awesome conversation already. But anything that Svetlana chooses to create or be involved in, you can know that she's gonna have this beautiful energy that you felt from her today, flowing through whatever that creation is. And the beautiful thing for all of us when we choose to co-create with other awesome humans on this planet, and this could be with anyone. All we can control again is the energy that we bring to that interaction. But just knowing that Svetlana, her intention is to love and to inspire and to empower and uplift the people that she's coming in contact with and helping, you know that she's going to bring that beautiful energy. So if you bring yours as well and co-create, where you can go in that moment and beyond, as far as the clarity and the synchronicities that can happen and the new awarenesses that you can have, just awesome. So I always encourage, for those of you guys that are listening that may be in Las Vegas locally, or if you're not, definitely connect with her online, so that you can follow her journey and experience anything online that she has, or all that good stuff as well. Because I know it's going to be the same awesome energy that you felt today for sure. So I have one more question for you, unless I have another one. I mean, you've been sharing it the whole time, and I just want to make sure that there's nothing that is supposed to pour out from you that hasn't already. But I love to ask people, whenever someone is attracted to this episode, maybe it's right when it's released, or maybe it's 50 years from now. What would you want them to just know from you that you become aware of? Anything, could be any subject that you feel would make an impact on them whenever they hear it.
just be gentle to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. You made a mistake. You're like, okay, I love you. I love you. I'll do better tomorrow. And we're so harsh on ourselves so often. Like, come into self-love and self-kindness. I heard Wayne Dyer once said, like, we all have the same purpose in love, and it is experienced in unconditional self-love. And when we're able to come home to ourselves and experience unconditional self-love for who we truly are, for the soul that we are, the light that we are, not the temporal personality or that ego that is telling us to do this one thing and then we do it and then it beats us up for it, right? Like, do not you go with that. Come back home, take a deep breath and say, it's okay. It's okay. I love you. Put yourself first, put source first, right? When we put the universe, when we put the God energy in the morning, that we sit down, we make it, we put the God first, and we allow it to come through us so it can shine through us the whole day. The day becomes so beautiful, right? One of my favorite quotes is also, God doesn't work for you, he works with you, right? Show up. What is it you want? Ask and go, guys. Go into it fully, knowing that you are supported, that you are guided, that you are protected, that everything that you want is there because that energy wants it for you. And you are here to bring it into the light. We all have different dreams. We do. Someone is dreaming about being a lawyer, someone is dreaming about being a doctor. You're like, why in the world would you ever want to do that? Right? Because you are something so different. Like, and what is given to you, it's only given to you because you can. You can bring it through in this lifetime. You have everything already within you. So unpack it, unfold it, breathe through it, love on yourself, plug in and go. Go shine bright. Free yourself. Free yourself. Free your light. Go shine bright.
Wow, that's so good. Definitely, I don't always say this twice on the episode, but rewind and listen to that part again for sure. That I'm purposely not even going to add to anything. I could comment on everything that you shared and just affirm it even more. But it's so beautifully said how you just said that. And the only part of it that I will affirm, just because it's so important, what you mentioned, and it makes it so much easier to do everything that Svetlana just said, is that first thing in the morning, being able to connect with God, be able to connect with love, be able to, at least being able to, find things to appreciate when we first wake up. When we're sleeping, we don't have the stresses and the worries and all the things that we may have had in the previous day. And so we actually have an opportunity when we first wake up. What's my first thought going to be? What's my second thought going to be? What's my third thought? And we can choose what this is going to be. And if we can get in the habit of, finding, I'm so grateful that I'm awake, that I have a roof over my head, that I have food to eat, that, I get to experience another day. Well, you've already started your energy in a place where you're on the right track and you're connected versus first thought, oh crap, this is going to be such a long day, or I got all this,
Can't
or
do
what's
that.
on my phone.
No, you can't
Oh,
do that. You kind
rough.
of like just drop right down.
Yeah.
It gotta be like appreciation, absolutely. It's because then you just go very, very, it's going to spiral down very fast from there. Yeah, the first thoughts are all about whether it is gratitude, whether it is like thank you for being alive, good morning, God, angels, universe, whatever that is. Like, I usually wake up, I have my way of waking up, and they would ask like, like, Holy Spirit, just God, put me and keep me on my golden path of light throughout the day, right? So I'm always on my path of light. And it's so important, yes, that first intention, the first communication, the first thought that come in. Like, we need to train ourselves. And when we wake up, it's like, okay, hi, good morning, right? So it becomes that the common theme every single day, and also before we go to bed at night, right? Because we marinate on those thoughts for the next 8 hours, 6 hours, however long you sleep. We are able to program our subconscious however we want to. And so releasing the day and being appreciative, right? And whether it is a prayer, meditation, or anything that you do, like, find your own routine that really like feeds your soul, and just go with that. And again, I have a few amazing tools on my website, like what to say before you go to bed, like I have a few blogs there, those affirmations and things like that. They can help people to for those who don't have their maybe routine set up yet, on how to go with it every morning and every night, so you stay in that vortex, so you stay in that light, so you stay in your own goodness, right? And if you fall out, you're like, just kidding, no, that's thought, you take it, it's not mine, no thank you, okay, I remember who I am, let's continue on.
I love it. Such good advice. Such good advice. Yeah, the earlier in the day we can feel this connection, the easier it is to maintain it and to let the momentum increase it. And if we do, because we're human, if we do fall out of it because, we catch ourselves up, I'm worrying about something that, right now I can't control. I don't need the answer to that, like we've been talking about throughout this episode. But you've already felt that connection today. So now it's easy for me to return to it versus if we just start the whole day on frustrated and worried. Now I haven't even felt that connection today. So it's much easier now to just keep spiraling down, down, down. And it could be a rough day. We've all experienced days like that. So beautiful advice. I love it so much. I'm going to check really quick to see if we have any questions on any of the platforms here. I don't think I got any alerts, but I had some questions the other day and I didn't check it until afterwards, and that didn't do any good. But you're awesome, Svetlana. I really appreciate you and
Thank you.
the energy that you have shared. Hello, Kim. No question there. One sec. Awesome. Well, you guys that are watching live, if you have any questions for Svetlana, afterwards you see the replay, put them and I'll make sure that I ask. I actually have been tagging a couple of guests afterwards and for questions that specifically for them. So really appreciate you, Svetlana. This has been a fun conversation and one that I would want to have with you anyway, and just so happy that we could record it and share it so that more people can be impacted by it. And you guys definitely follow Svetlana on social media, and all her links are here in the description. You can see everything that she's doing, and just excited for life. And Happy New Year to everybody, as always. And yes, just sending so many positive vibes and love and light to you all. Whenever you hear this, definitely share this episode. This will be very impactful for someone that you know or someone that is connected to you on social media. You can impact them, and continue to rate and review and subscribe if you're not already. Make it easier for people to find these episodes, and I'll keep introducing you guys to awesome humans like Svetlana, and keep sharing love and light and having fun with all you guys. So thank you again, Svetlana, for sharing your energy with us and your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be here and share with you and share with everyone. I really appreciate it, and it's been humbling and beautiful to be here with you today and spend some time.
You're awesome. You're awesome. I really appreciate you. Well, you guys, sending love and light to you all. Have an amazing day whenever you hear this, and we will talk with you soon on another episode. Bye for now. And yes, so Svetlana, you're awesome. That was so much fun.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna stop the stream and I'm gonna say bye to you. One sec.